You know, there's nothing more than discovering Mexico. And Patricia Quintana has invited us to this extraordinary flavors, smell, the taste of all of Mexico, and we are so excited to be here. I know I am. And talk about where we're standing at the moment.
Where we're standing at the zone that is very special. We are near Chetumal, and there is the lagoons of Bacalar. And then we are standing in a beautiful, surrounded by this fortress, the fortress of San Felipe, Bacalar. But it has all the lines of the Mayans. You know, I feel like the Mayans had been built in the way of the essence of what we are looking at. And this fortress, that all the ships, maybe you can picture them up in your mind, and then you can see all the little boats coming up, and also the pirates that they came here, and the way that you feel with the lagoons of Bacalar. It's unbelievable, you know, the senses that we had been experimenting after the Chichen Itza, and the way that it stands out for their own culture.
Do you know also you have the cannons? So you have a sense of the museum here, which is fantastic because you've got the great mural, and also the stones, the limestones were taken from some of the Mayan temples. But we're here today to experience this, and I think this is really some of the best kind of experience that anybody coming to Mexico can have, because they learn about the history, and the taste. The taste, my God, the food is unbelievable. I mean, I have had on this experience more different kinds of flavors, you know, because each region is so special. I love your book, by the way, or your books. They're colorful, and they're reflective of everything within the whole area, the region, and I think people can appreciate that. You know, Mexico is a very special place. It's our neighbor in the south, and more people need to come here and experience what we're experiencing throughout our trip.
You can come and visit the different sorts of surroundings and the haciendas.
Oh,
the
yes.
haciendas are so, it's a breathtaking.
Thank God they preserved them.
Yes.
You know, because that is a part of the history that could have gone by the wayside, but apparently people have taken over and they created, whether it's for festivals or events or for living.
Stay.
Yeah, right. Yes. And it makes so much sense, because then you go back and you feel like you're part of the history. This is my new friend, Deborah Snyder, and she owns
Soul Cocina in Newport Beach in California.
And you do special food. And you know, this is a culinary experience throughout Mexico. We're learning about the flavors and the colors of Mexico.
The route is amazing. Patricia Quintana has put this together. We go and experience foods and cultural activities and scenery like this beautiful hacienda. Isn't this amazing?
Unbelievable.
It's called Tetik de Regil.
And it brings us back to another era of when Faisal was the king.
Yes, sisal, which was used to make rope and made kings out of people that they could build things like this. I mean, it's just incredible.
And today we can come back and visit this, and you can have an affair here, you know, a great wedding or an event. So it becomes a very special place still.
Yeah, and you're really immersed in the history and the culture of the peninsula when you're here. When you look at this, even the murals over here that I'm sure you'll be looking at, with the turkeys and the foods of the Yucatan and the cultural activities here. I love it. It's very peaceful, very beautiful.
And the Yucatan is so different from the rest of Mexico, you know.
Yeah, what's with all the hard-boiled eggs? I just can't figure that one out.
Maybe it's the chickens. They have an abundance of chickens.
They have a lot of chickens. I think it's the turkey thing, but they're not turkey eggs. It is so distinct. I mean, we were saying yesterday at the market, we weren't seeing the dried chilies, we weren't seeing the chilies, the fresh chilies that we're used to in the rest of Mexico. Just completely unique.
But the habanero was unbelievable.
The habanero, it's memorable.
Memorable in the sense that your tongue will always remember it.
Yes, and the amazing seafood yesterday.
Oh my God.
In Celestun.
So fresh.
Was unbelievable. The octopus, the little grilled octopus, and everything was just amazing.
And the fish right out on the beach.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you know, it was a paradise.
Yeah, I just felt transported. I want to live there. I want to live here. I want to live everywhere I go.
And I kept screaming, fish, fish, fish.
Fish, and pulpo, and some more camarones, and another drink, and
More margaritas.
Yes, it's a great lifestyle.
Sisal was king, and that industry made men very, very rich, where they built elaborate factories and haciendas. For instance, you have a wonderful restaurant. Tell me the name of it.
It's called Sol Cocina.
And it's located?
We are on Balboa Marina in Newport Beach, and we're going to be in Scottsdale too. And we do very classic Mexican food, but in a very simple way.
Right.
And I get so much inspiration from these trips.
Oh,
it's
of course.
Just great.
And you're a cookbook writer.
I have 5 cookbooks. Yes,
wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mostly about Baja California. But sort of, I like seafood, I like grilled things, I like simple food, but I just love the traditional tastes of Mexico, and that's what we get on these trips.
And this is a whole new book for you, I'm sure, by the time you get back.
The wheels are turning right now. Not wheels that size, but almost that size of what to do next. Because, you know, to communicate real Mexican food to people in the United States is really
It's not
difficult.
a taco.
Yeah, the expectation is, oh, it's a burrito, or I call it the death hubcap of sludge.
Right.
You know, when you get this big
mess.
red carpet. Yeah, it's awful. And that's not Mexican
No,
food.
no.
It's so subtle and sophisticated.
The clarity of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that makes the difference as opposed to the mush that you get in Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
You know, people need to understand the difference between Mexican food, real Mexican food,
Yeah.
compared to Tex-Mex.
Yeah. Well, and you know about travel. The more you learn about another place, the more you learn about yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is such a great place to do that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And look at the surrounding here. It's just so spectacular.
I'm thinking there's a beautiful chapel over here that's about as big as the Vatican. And then the main hacienda is like, how big do you think that is? It's enormous. It's like a whole city block.
Oh, unbelievable.
And then this was the factory, and yet look how beautifully they made it.
Yeah.
It must be 18th century, I'm thinking.
Well,
Would
you
that
know,
be your guess too?
I think so. And I love the Roman arches,
Yeah.
you know, and they were very, very specific about the Ionic capitals, you know, and the main building.
Basically, the luxury you can see in this hacienda represents the boom they had with the Heineken on 1852. And they told us that there were more rich men here in Mérida than in whole Latin America. So can you imagine?
Really?
There were more rich men here than in whole Latin America.
Well, this certainly reflects it. My God,
Of
this is what they call a
This is luxury. This
Yeah.
is extreme luxury.
This is what they call a 2-bedroom suite. Meanwhile, it's
With a pool
hectares.
inside.
Yeah, and you can just float out and it's a dreamland actually.
Totally. And like they had this big boom with the Heineken. They were so rich that Yucatan wanted to be independent from Mexico. Yucatan wanted to be its own country.
That's what I heard.
Exactly.
What about the coins?
Oh, yeah. Of course, that's an important part. They had so much money that each hacienda had its own coin.
My God.
So they produced everything basically to live. And in that way, people that worked here couldn't buy things on the hacienda that was beside.
No
They
competition.
They had their own coin. Beautiful. I want to live there.
I'd like to see one of those. Do they have them around, do you think? Still? One of their own coins? Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Maybe at a
We
museum.
should look for it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm not sure if they have it. But this is definitely an extreme luxury that if you can sometime come and see it, it's so worth it.
Oh, God. You know, when you think about luxury, you think about living in the city, as we live in cities, and then we come here and it's a whole other world. But you know, they lease this out for events so that other people can share the experience and go back to that era, which makes it very special. You know, Mexico is such an incredible place to come to because there's so much history. I'm here at one of UNESCO's heritage sites, one of the many here in Mexico. And behind me is the Castillo, one of the largest in the area. It's absolutely magnificent from every angle. Chichen Itza was founded around 750 to 1200 AD. This archaeological zone possesses the most imposing buildings, such as the Pyramid of Kukulkan, where twice a year during the summer and the winter equinox, on the 21st of March and the 22nd of September, a magical game of light and shade creates the appearance of a serpent that gradually descends down one of the stairs of the pyramid until it completes the emblematic featured serpent. We're continuing our tour through Chichen Itza, and this is the Temple of the Warriors because of the reliefs, carvings on the stones.
The
imposing legacy of the Itzas goes beyond the main esplanade. The observatory, the sacred cenotes, the ball games, and the Temple of 1,000 Columns. Chichen Itza is located in the east of the Yucatan on the highways to Cancun, 120 kilometers from Merida.
Hola. Hola. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
How are you today, amigo?
Very well, thank you.
Wood, cedar wood.
Which one would like cheaper price for you? I have the Maya calendar.
If you want to have a remembrance of the experience, you can certainly pick up one of the items from one of the vendors who are selling their wares on the ground. The castle of Chichen Itza is designated as one of the 7 new wonders of the world in 2007.